Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio. And just because we live in a real fast-moving world today, for this Monday Mini, I'm going to timestamp it. It is November 6th, 2025. And today we are talking about something that has been going on for a while. But especially in the age of Trump and MAGA, it's men lying about their politics on dating profiles or being very, very vague. With a small update of something I hadn't heard of until Samantha let me know about it. That will be at the end. So, while it is true that some people can have romantic relationships with someone who has different political beliefs, I certainly couldn't right now, but people can. It is easier to find someone who shares your values, especially, I would argue, if you're coming from a marginalized community and the current administration is harming you and stripping you of your rights and the rights of those that you care about, which has been heightened under, yes, this current administration. Trump has demonized feminism. He's sexually assaulted women and embraced hypermasculinity. So, yeah. That's pretty polarizing.
Girl, did you know he said that he was better looking than Mandani? Like, that, what?
Oh my god!
Like, why does that even matter? What? Like that? But he needed to make that statement. I just, like, he's so insecure.
He is so insecure. Oh my gosh!
A, like, almost dying man because he's old, y'all. I'm sorry, not to be ageist, but he's also not healthy. But all that to say, needs to compare himself to a young dude. Yeah. Who's younger than me. I mean, come on. Anyway, keep going.
Yes. Yeah, clearly. So strong emotions. Strong emotions,
but like when you're that frail and fragile that you need to be like, but I'm better looking than him. Bro, what?
Yeah.
Is that the comeback that you... okay. Anyway,
I have a friend who I just am like, I never want this to be the news story, but just with you, I want to complain about all of these very superficial things about Trump. I would never do it because I think that actually takes up a lot of space and harms other people.
Exactly. Like, but the fact that he needed to compare himself.
Yes, he had to say it.
What is happening? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this is the leader, supposedly.
This is the guy. So, finding someone who shares your politics, while it doesn't necessarily mean you won't find plenty of other issues, maybe, even political ones, because by goodness I have, with them, it is generally like a few less things to worry about. And it indicates that this person and you are more likely to agree with several things on values that are important to you. Politics are personal. We've said it. People have said it. It's true. Because of this, more and more people, women specifically, have started asking, typically men, before the first date, what are your politics? Who did you vote for? And surprise, surprise, a lot of conservative men are lying about it to get more dates. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they aren't wrong that a lot of women don't want to date them. In the beginning of this year, 2025, reminder, the conservative think tank American Enterprise Institute released a study that found while 36% of heterosexual men reported they wouldn't date a Trump supporter, 52% of heterosexual women reported that they wouldn't. Here's some quotes from that. 60% of single women believe that women will be treated worse under the Trump administration, a view only 47% of single men share. Not surprisingly, most single women, including 3/4 of college-educated single women, report that they would be less likely to date a Trump supporter. Single men and women also have dramatically different views about what Trump's election means. Single women are uniquely fearful of Trump's return to power. Among those who voted for Kamala Harris, 41% of single women and 26% of single men report that they are frightened by Trump's election. 6 in 10 single women believe that women in the U.S. will be worse off under a second Trump presidency. Most single men do not share these concerns. I also think something that's not being discussed as much here is the intensity of women's dislike of Trump. It's not like a minor dislike. It's like a big one.
Like a vitriol that is
yes,
seething out.
Exactly.
Of some women that I might be.
Yes. Well, you might get to see some of it already, heard some of it already. Here's a quote from American Survey Center. The antipathy young women feel towards Donald Trump has been well documented, but the strength of the aversion they feel towards him is less remarked upon. The typical way we measure feelings toward political figures is on a scale of very favorable to very unfavorable. 75% of unmarried young women have a very unfavorable view of Trump. But this survey question does not adequately capture the visceral feelings of disgust many young women have for Trump. A 2016 AP poll found that a majority of young women said the term sexist described Trump, which, yeah.
I feel like that's just a polite way of saying
that's
it.
That's the nicest way to say it. Very, very diplomatic.
Who's being politically correct here?
I know. The dating app Hilly released a survey around the same time that found 1 in 3 of Gen Z and millennial women wouldn't date someone with different political beliefs. I believe the prevailing quote was, "I'd rather die alone." Only 1 in 10 of the men surveyed reported the same thing. A 2020 Pew Research study found that while half of Republicans said they probably or definitely wouldn't date someone who voted for Biden, 71% of Democratic women said they probably or definitely wouldn't date someone who voted for Trump. A 2024 survey of 1,000 people from the dating app Coffee Meets Bagel found that 83% would be willing to end a relationship based on politics. 83%.
Yeah.
And these are only a handful of numbers, listeners. There has been a lot about this.
I was just thinking about the fact that you were saying that some of the single men who said they would be afraid, I'm sure they were all I wonder if they were part of the queer community. I mean, there's a big chunk of those people, or some marginalized group, single men. It wasn't just white men, obviously.
Yeah.
White heteronormative men.
Yes. I would not be surprised at all. I'm also not surprised about this, unfortunately. What have conservative men started doing because of all of this? They have been labeling themselves as moderate or being otherwise very politically vague so that they can match with women who have a no conservatives descriptor or something like that in their profile where they immediately see that and just swipe left. This practice has become so widespread from these men that for many, moderate has become a red flag. That's an immediately, nope. A lot of women have described days, months of messaging only to eventually find out not only are these men not moderate, but are in fact far-right and anti-feminist. Some even lie, outright lie about who they voted for at first. Given that women's rights are under attack, reproductive rights are being stripped, the administration's promotion of proto-nationalism to increase the white Christian birth rate in the U.S., which, by the way, I almost did that for a Monday Mini, but it was such a big topic that we're just going to have to come back. And the rise of online discourse around tradwives that women are rightfully anxious about this. It feels like a threat. It feels like a violation, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Dating is already a minefield, and now you may go on a date where you have to explain why this whole political thing isn't just a difference of opinion, that this is about safety, it's about rights, it's about humanity. Do you see me as human? Do you see me as someone deserving equal rights? Now I have to do this.
If they're lying about it, then they know the significance. That's the thing. So what bothers me is eventually it will come out because they will slip up and say something. Because inevitably, whether it's an eye roll, whether it's a dismissal, whether it's but he wasn't that bad type of conversation, it'll eventually come out. And the red flags will be bing, because the women are wait, what? The thing is, they know how bad it is. They know it's a big deal if they have to lie to get to these women. And also, why would you want to date someone with these things that are so against what you, quote unquote, voted for? As well as the fact that didn't they start like these conservative dating websites specifically so they could find their own people? Why are they straying away from them so hard?
Yes. Well, part of the reason that this was on my radar, we have been talking about doing this for a while, but it came up again to me recently because there was a news article that was about people in Washington, D.C. Basically, nobody likes Trump there. It's pretty rare. And so they were saying like conservative men were having such a hard time matching. And so it was sort of a way of gaming the system, because if you say, a lot of dating apps now give you the option to screen out if they say conservative or anything like that, just immediately screen them out. And so it was sort of like a way of getting back. That? Yeah. So the problem is compounded in liberal cities where conservative men have far fewer chances of matching. I saw the nicest, most diplomatic quote about this from a woman who was interviewed. And she said, well, they really have no option because no one wants to date them. But no, that made me laugh. But she was saying, like, in such a liberal city, your dating pool, it's very small. Some women have reported that men in these situations say things like, you're in a blue state, you're fine, which makes me want to throw something. That is a horrible thing to say. Some sites that I found even have like these questions, like advice about how to figure out what moderate means to someone you're messaging, which blows my mind that there's actual dating advice about this. There's also apps like Maple Match, which was a dating service to put Americans and Canadians together that was created in 2016 after the election, by the way.
Was it to get a green card?
Yes.
Citizenship? Ah!
Yes. And they were talking about how the numbers went way up after the other election. So again, maybe we could come back and do that topic for another day.
Yes.
Another topic we need to do another day, but I did find some articles about how some considered trad wife relationships being a 24/7 kink relationship. Well, we'll come back to that.
Maybe.
Okay, so not only do women report feeling catfished or being lied to after all of this, but there is something else going on here. Some men are doing this not just for a date, but because they want to change the politics of the liberal woman they match with. They see it as like a duty. And or they can't meet the standards of conservative women. They want to have sex before marriage. They want the dual incomes. They want a conquest. They didn't actually want to be the breadwinner. So who do they go for? Liberal women, because they can't meet conservative women's standards.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Also, like, I read a pretty heartbreaking story from a woman that this happened to. And she really liked this guy and spent a long time with him. And after they had sex, the next morning he said, what do you think is the biggest problem facing feminism? And she gave reproductive rights, like a bunch of answers that I would agree with. And then he said, I think it's because you all hate men, and then left. Like, he just had sex with her and left her. And that's so gross that he took that final moment to be like, you're actually very unintelligent. And here's why.
Because I tricked you.
There is a pretty fiery Reddit post that I found about this where the poster, I think it was something like too afraid to ask. But they asked, why are men doing this? And a lot of the comments, I'm guessing from largely men, were essentially things like, because things have been so radicalized and conservatives aren't seen as people anymore. Our people won't even give us a chance for more than our political beliefs. Or that they're actually more progressive than people think. I don't believe in extremes was a big one. Once they get to know me better, they'll know I'm a good person and forget the lying. I love that one. It's discrimination. It's about the economy. I'm apolitical or ambivalent right. I'm glad you have the privilege to be apolitical.
Right. Like, apolitical is the biggest red flag. Like, you are so privileged that you are securely okay with everything going wrong, and you do not care about other people. Like, that's the big red flag.
Oh yeah, that one came up a lot. I just don't. I mean, I get it, but that is the most frustrating, like, shrug of responsibility or care I've ever. Just no thanks. No thanks. And yeah, this whole thing is not surprising. It aligns with a lot of pickup culture or lying to get a date or hookup that we do see is really popular in conservative circles. But it's gross that people, largely heterosexual men in this case, feel so comfortable lying in the hopes of getting women invested or getting laid. Because a lot of them said, I just have to get her invested and then she won't leave.
Right. Trapping them.
Exactly.
Emotionally or physically.
And I'm not saying it's easy dating these days, but if you have to start with a lie, then maybe we should be examining a bunch of other things. As has been pointed out by many, for a lot of heterosexual, usually white men, they've never felt threatened by politics or by like a vagueness around politics. So they don't understand the like actual danger and threat that some of us feel, or they dismiss it or they laugh at it. But for marginalized folks, this is not the case. That American Enterprise Institute study I mentioned earlier, it also found that only 35% of unmarried women felt safe using online dating apps. Only 35%. And this is a significant drop from a previous study in 2019.
Yeah. That's a huge drop.
Yeah. I mean, 30. Oddly, I actually think this whole thing is part of what helped get Trump elected, because angry single men largely voted for Trump, while single women largely didn't. And these men are angry that they're single. And so they vote for things that embody that anger, this misogyny, but it perpetuates numerous things that are why they are single.
Right. You don't see the like cyclical bit of this. Like, you are the problem. And you are causing more problems.
Right. Like, if we actually honestly worked on rape culture and made that better, I promise you a lot more women would be willing to go on dates with you.
The bar is so low that a decent dude that literally is like, yeah, you know what? If a woman says no and he walks away, people clap for them.
I know. So you're going in the wrong way, my man.
It's so low. You really don't have to do that much. Not lying is one of the beginnings. Changing some of your views about human rights, barely.
Right.
I just saw a post about a girl saying that she saw this man holding a baby in the correct way, and she was like, my uterus jumped. Ma'am.
Right. It's bad news. I know we've talked about it before, but every time I hear my friends who are still dating their stories, I'm like, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. And in fact, many of my friends, my women friends, they're just like, that. You're right. I don't want to date anymore. It's not worth it. And this contracts with the idea that a lot of men feel that they are entitled to women and resort to violence when they don't get dates. We talked about the male loneliness epidemic. I think that, in it, we said women are lonely too. It's just that the male loneliness part is leading to violence.
Right. Leading to death.
Exactly. So this whole thing, like, Trump's ruining your dating chances, dudes. I know you're not listening and you never would, but I'm just going to put it out there.
Christian nationalism is killing your chances of having a family.
Yes. Yeah, those things that you're like supporting and pushing, they're not working out. Okay.
No. Like, the thing is, women are just as lonely, but we also have better friend groups. So when we say we're okay single, it's because we have a family within our friend groups. Like, I talk about the fact that if my relationship with my partner were to end right now, I would not want to try to date again. Like, I feel like I'm already too old, which is an ageist kind of attitude in the sexist, misogynistic world. But also, I'm tired and I don't want to try to maneuver through that. Also, I know I have a great group of like women who are either single or like childless, and we are a community that does okay. We are okay because we're not attached to our partner in such a way that if we would break up, like everything falls apart. That's not a thing.
Right.
As where once upon a time when you my parents specifically and my older siblings, it did feel that way. Like they have to figure out their finances, they have to figure out how to get all these things that really held them into that marriage or relationship. And also because they lost a lot of their friendships, or those friendships are all caught up in their families. Yeah. We have less of that. Like I have enough group people that I'm like, I could lean to being able to have my time in. I'm going to hang out with this person. They would let me stay with them if I need, like stuff like that. And knowing that, I have enough single friends. I have enough like childless friends. I have people who do have children, but not a lot of children. You know what I'm like? Yeah. That we can make a community and we don't feel lonely in that same way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's also such a larger conversation of violence.
I mean, we talked about that with the loneliness epidemic. Like, that's exactly like we were able to be like, we can suffice. Being single is no longer a threat for us.
Yes. And going back to the episode I mentioned that I was going to do for this Monday Mini on proto-nationalism, we've talked about that before with the Monday Mini of yours about the South Korean birth rate. There has been a lot of hand-wringing about that recently, and not just the U.S., but a bunch of countries. And a lot of it was, women they have job opportunities where they didn't. It wasn't painted in a bad light for a lot of people, but they were saying this is why it's happening, is because a lot of these things weren't there before that women are now able to pursue.
Right. And also studies that say things like being married is actually detrimental to women, but helps men. And like single women outlive married women and do better for themselves. Like the studies have shown, like women lose themselves because they have to sacrifice so much for a family or marriage. But when they don't have to do all that, they live just as well as the married dude without the baggage.
Yeah. I there was another quote I found from somebody talking about this that was just, I'm good. I don't need the drama men bring into my life. Right. I feel like I'm okay.
And honestly, this goes for like queer relationships too, because I've seen statistics where the abusive relationships within like specifically like lesbian relationships and gay relationships have kind of like, it is now that they're actually researching it, it is a lot higher than you would expect. And so just being single, even if you're queer, is still better.
Yeah. I know. But yes, I've seen that too.
You're living that dream right now. Yes, Anney.
I know. That's why I'm excited to come back to the article you sent to me that we'll mention at the end. But it's been a kind of interesting journey for me, from going to like, you're the sad single lady who'll never get married, to be like, why can't I be like you?
You're the one who's going to survive. You're the one.
Well, we'll come back to that in the future. We already are planning it. Another thing I stumbled upon researching this is apparently another trick men are using is putting in therapy in their profiles to indicate that they know how to communicate and are emotionally intelligent. This was in part because of questions about openness of discussing mental health that were on a lot of dating apps. So if men answered yes, they saw about a 500% increase in potential matches. So you can see the episode.
The bar is so low.
The bar is so low. They just want to know, are you okay? And you can see the episode we did with Bridget about this whole thing. We kind of talked about it with Jonah Hill's controlling behavior of his ex, and he was using these therapy terms inaccurately, like, these are my boundaries, which that was not correct usage at all. But yeah, you can listen to that episode to learn more about that. Also, to mention once more, there has been a whole push for women who have said they don't want or can't afford to have kids, and some there's been a really interesting conversation I'm seeing playing out about that on dating apps where men are like, we can have 5 kids, and women are like, no. We can't.
Who are you talking? Who is we, Batman?
Exactly. But also just the reality of our economy right now, and like the economies of a lot of the world is no, we cannot do it. And you're talking about me probably losing my job.
Yes.
Or
having $1,000 as a like your incentive to children who grow out of clothes, have to use diapers. Like, what?
Yep. Called Trump accounts, listeners. Oh. I had to go to the White House official website for the first time to learn about this, and it's gross. I was like, I knew that you had really hijacked this website, but wow. Anyway, all of this has perhaps led to something that, yes, Samantha turned me on to, that we're planning on returning to in the future, which is the recent viral Vogue article by Shantae Joseph, Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing Now? And it includes the quote, why does having a boyfriend feel Republican?
Yes.
So, look out for that. But yeah, I mean, this just makes me so angry. There's a part of me that like, because the comparison that kept coming up was men lie about their height on dating apps because it just screens you out, and they feel like if they just get to know me. I have less of a problem with that. I still think you shouldn't just lie, but this feels like a serious.
This involves our rights and infringements, and also your beliefs of the value of me.
Yes, and also a lot of the profiles will say specifically no, and they'll lie.
Yeah.
And then they'll say something like, you just needed to get to know me. Like, it has nothing to do with how highly do you have to think of yourself?
Right.
Where you think you can enter a relationship like that and she'll get to know me, and then I'm in the clear. She'll forget about this whole lie that started the whole thing.
There's so many conversations that you have to wonder why you would think this is like just a minor. Like once upon a time, maybe. I don't know. I like maybe when I was talking about Bush, which still is bad. Don't get me wrong. Get me wrong. But like today's rhetoric is literally the extreme of whatever. Like we have Nazi parties coming back. We have neo-Nazis coming in full swing. We have anti-Black people, like literally the Ku Klux Klan in different forms have been showing back up. The Daughters of the Confederacy / Moms for Liberty, like all of these things are literally trying to take away rights to the point that we are seeing queer rights being taken away. When rights are being taken away, that is when we were like, no, this is not an extreme. This is a failure of humanity. This is an access to atrocities and new things that we're coming to see. When we see people being locked up for no damn reason and dying in facilities and systems, being shot because they're a different race, because like all being profiled just because you might be a different race. Being told that having food for your kids is a privilege.
Yeah.
And not a right. Like these are the things that like that's the problem that I'm like, when you trying to downplay that to being like it's just a viewpoint. It's just an opinion. Yeah. It's like it's not when it's actually trying to actively kill people. Actively hurt people. Like this is the difference. And if you can't see that, then that is a failing in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you want to be infuriated, you can look up some of the responses these men have had when they've been found out, and they're just, ugh. But also, it was kind of funny to read about how many dates end so quickly.
Yeah.
Now, where they're like 7 minutes in, got it.
They do come out very quickly because they say something real silly. I remember way back when it was John McCain that was running with Sarah Palin, right?
Yes.
I remember when that was going on, which was bad enough. And by the way, as much as I dislike John McCain, love him compared to everything else. Can we just, R.I.P. Can we just say that? But like, I remember the girl went on a date and they didn't even talk about politics. This was before the whole like, let me know your politics.
Yeah.
That was when moderate was okay. Moderate was seemingly okay because at the very least, they're like, fine, we'll give you, queer rights. We'll give you like 20 weeks and like some, which is still not enough. But like at the very least, they weren't actively trying to kill women or the queer community or people of color, kind of. But like, at least they were hiding it. We'll say it that way. But he literally said to her, he was like, so how excited are you? And she was like, excuse me? And she was like, he's like, how excited are you? I mean, Sarah Palin, she's amazing. It's a woman. It's a woman. I'm like, that is, again, this is where we have to talk about your insane sexism to believe that will quell any type
just because she's a woman.
Yes, perfect. Yay.
Right. That's all I needed.
That is her intellectual abilities to understand. It's a woman. Yay. That's now I can go back to my lipstick and having babies. Like, I was like, at that point, it was that insulting. Like to this, like, you know what I'm saying? And now we're here. Yeah. But it's always been a little bit, and now it's just come to the extremists.
Yeah. Well, it's incredibly condescending. And somebody included a quote from Trevor Noah's book, but it was basically like men want to capture the quote exotic bird. They want to tame and subdue.
Yeah, there's this challenge.
Exactly. So the conservative woman to them is like, she's already in the cage. But what we want is the woman who doesn't agree, and you want to tame her, change her mind.
Kill her spirit.
Kill her spirit. And I was like, yeah, that unfortunately rings pretty true to me. Yeah. So we will be back to talk more about this. It's been a big news item for a long time. Like I said, we've been talking about this for a while, but I just last week ran into it again. So if any listeners have experienced this and you want to share your story, I'm sorry. Please write in. Ugh, what a mess. You can email us at hello@stuffI'venevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast, or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have some new merchandise at Cotton Bureau, and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.